Tell me exactly where the hammer made impact is greater than the skull. Is greater than. Was every blow concentrated on the head? Is greater than, yeah, entirely on the skull. I think is greater than, right. You engaged with the body afterwards is greater than, yes. Is greater than setting aside the actual killing. I am far more intrigued by the artistry of taking a life, the calculated precision of it. It requires such dedication, almost like affection. Is greater than I would absolutely do it again. Oh, no, I am not interested in men. Strictly, women. Is greater than on March 27, 2014. Emergency dispatch received a notification that would unveil a nightmare so grotesque. It left veteran detectives completely speechless. 18-year-old Kevin Davis Jr., a local from Corpus Christi, Texas, walked up to a random house and, with a terrifying lack of emotion, announced, "I just took a life." Yet, that confession was merely the opening chapter of a much darker story. Law enforcement rushed to the scene, completely oblivious to the house of horrors waiting for them behind that apartment door. We are about to explore the gruesome reality inside, how a vicious betrayal shattered a family, and uncover his calculated plot to eliminate his own sister next. It is absolutely surreal. Is greater than. The haunting question remains, how could a child raised by Kimberly Hill, a woman defined by benevolence and warmth, transform into the beast that ended her existence? What dark mechanisms were turning inside Kevin Davis's psyche that drove him to commit such an atrocity? The horrifying reality was about to be exposed, layer by disturbing layer. Before we dive in, if this story grips you, please hit that like button and share your thoughts on the case. It supports the channel immensely. Drop a comment letting me know which part of the world you are tuning in from, and remember to subscribe for more true crime deep dives. Thank you. This content is produced strictly for educational and documentary intent. We do not support, praise, or excuse any criminal behavior or individuals featured in this report. Please be advised the following material contains disturbing details. Kimberly Diane Hill was the epitome of altruism, dedicating her days to the service of others. Entering the world in Miami, Oklahoma, on March 28, 1963, she carried a magnetic energy that naturally attracted people. Following her tour with the Marine Corps in the Persian Gulf War, she sought a purpose beyond standard civilian routines, committing herself to a higher calling. Settling in Corpus Christi, Texas, as a hospice nurse, she poured her soul into comforting the terminally ill, offering empathy and companionship to vulnerable patients in their final moments. When off the clock, Kimberly attacked life with undeniable zest and enthusiasm. She delighted in everything from the quiet peace of gardening to the adrenaline of skydiving and the immersive experience of live music. Yet, surpassing all her passions and thrill-seeking, her heart belonged primarily to her offspring, her daughter, Desiree, and her son, Kevin. On March 6, 2013, she posted a status on social media that perfectly encapsulated her maternal devotion. It read, "To my kids, if forced to decide between loving you and taking another breath, I would use my final gasp to say I love you." That statement was not just a platitude, it was the core truth of her existence. Tragically, Kimberly could not have foreseen that this message would stand as one of the final testaments of love she would ever offer them. Those words now carry a heavy, morbid weight, as she was unaware that barely a year later, she would be brutally ripped from this world. The individual destined to extinguish her light was not a stranger, but the very boy she had raised and cherished, her son, Kevin. Kevin's trajectory, however, was a stark contrast to the hopeful future Kimberly envisioned. Born in December 1995, Kevin Davis Jr. was a troubled spirit from the beginning, grappling with feelings of isolation and anger that festered as he aged. The dynamic with his father was incredibly volatile. Kevin frequently disparaged him, casually dismissing the man as incompetent. Dawn broke on March 27, 2014, with no warning signs. Kimberly Hill prepared for another shift of compassionate caregiving. She had her day mapped out, but those intentions would be cut short in the most permanent way. When her employer phoned to investigate her absence, Kimberly was already gone, slaughtered in a nightmarish fashion by the child she had adored for almost 20 years. The nightmare surfaced publicly when a teenager rapped on the entrance of Timothy and Leanda's residence in Robstown, Texas. Leanda, confused by the interruption, asked the visitor what was wrong. His reply was terrifyingly casual: "I just killed a person." Attempting to comprehend the absurdity of the moment and gauge if this was a prank, she stammered, Who did you kill?" Her voice shook. The answer froze her blood. He said, "His mother." Leanda instantly dialed 911, panic rising with every passing second. She relayed the information to the operator, barely able to process the confession she had just witnessed. Is greater than state your emergency." "Yes, ma'am. Listen, a stranger just came to my front porch. He is standing right here. He asked me to call the police because he claims he just committed a murder." "Okay. Is he still present? Is greater than yes." "Ma'am, I am in serious danger. Is greater than. And he explicitly stated he killed somebody. Est supérieur à affirmative. Is greater than all right. Is there a chance I could have a word with him directly? Is greater than. Would you be willing to get on the line with emergency services? Is greater than no problem. Is greater than hello there. Is greater than. Tell me what's happening. Sir, is greater than. Like I mentioned, I just took someone's life. In reality, by the moment law enforcement pulled up, Kevin Davis Jr. had already given himself up. He stood completely still, freezing in place as the deputies approached to place him under arrest. The grim discovery inside was just as chilling as Kevin's admission. At 10:30 in the morning, officers breached the Windrush apartments, immediately confronted by a living area drenched in crimson evidence. Right beside Kimberly's still form rested a hammer coated in red, verifying Kevin's earlier story about how he ended his mother. A dark trail wound from the main room down the hall. However, what the investigators uncovered as they pushed further into the unit was even more stomach-churning. Kimberly's stained garments were tossed haphazardly on the floor. Yet, the true horror was waiting ahead, venturing deeper into the residence. They located a sequence of mocking handwritten letters Kevin had positioned for them to find. The first note, left right by the sofa, was directed at Desiree, Kevin's half-sister. The writing was icy, deliberate, and terrifyingly casual. "Keep your head on straight. She might still be breathing, though I wouldn't bet on it. Better run. Desiree, yours truly, your brother." Let's shift to the interrogation room so you can hear the details straight from the source. Is greater than earlier. You spoke with a few folks. You mentioned wanting to unburden yourself. Look, we are here to hear you out. Is greater than why show up? What went down? Is greater than walk us through it? Is greater than has anyone checked the residence yet? Seriously, is greater than we are aware of the situation. Is greater than we know, but we need your version of events. Is greater than. We have the broad strokes. You're the only person who can fill in the blanks. Take it from the top. Man, what triggered all of this? Is greater than I'm just over it. I don't care for life. I don't like people. I don't like existing. Essentially, Kevin's statements act as a flashing warning sign of severe mental instability, suggesting traits consistent with antisocial personality disorders often tied to psychopathy. Is greater than. It's not really about being sad. It's exactly like I put in the letter. Is greater than. The resignation letter is time-stamped March 26, 2014, at 6:51 p.m. and goes like this. I had a shift in perspective. I claimed I would do it, so I have to honor my commitment. I am a man of my word. After all, even if a twisted one. It's too much effort, too many responsibilities. Honestly, people But mostly, it's me. By the way, I've always daydreamed about taking a life, yours included. Funny how you never truly know a person, not even your own flesh and blood. Apologies for the disaster in the restroom. Mother, best of luck getting over the trauma. You too. Sincerely, or perhaps not, Kevin Jazriel Davis. P.S. I ended that dull gray feline just because I needed entertainment one afternoon. My bad. Is greater than I did that. Is greater than when did you draft? This is greater than around 6 or 7-ish. Is greater than today or the day before. Is greater than the day before. Yesterday is greater than understood. Sunday afternoon, or is greater than afternoon, right? Then what occurred? Exhales is greater than. Then she managed to irritate me, sort of. Well, not exactly. I thought about it, and then on impulse, I flipped the script and drafted a blueprint to eliminate both my mother and sister. To be honest, is greater than. That has always been a fixation of mine. Is it like a dark fantasy? It is, actually, but plans rarely go smooth. It seems at least the ones scratched on paper because she decided she was fed up with the nonsense. She was planning to ship me off to my sister's place again. So I basically skipped the waiting game and handled business right then and there. Is greater than he actually intended to end his mother simply because she suggested he stay with his sibling. Is greater than I tried to choke her out with a wire. Ripped it right off a game controller. That failed. Is greater than. What was she doing? Is greater than. She was resting on the sofa. Is greater than right. Is greater than. That didn't go as planned. She started wailing. So I headed to her room, cracked open the bottom right drawer. I grabbed a hammer. I walked back to the living area and, well, you can imagine the rest. She was unconscious pretty fast. Tried to fake being gone at first, but I made sure of it. Is greater than. This stands as one of the most chilling admissions ever recorded. Is greater than. Did you strike her with the tool while she was sitting upright on the couch? No. Started by trying to squeeze the life out of her. That didn't take. So I reached for the cord, sprinted back to her room, snatched the sledge, returned, and finished the job. How many strikes? How many blows in the living area? Minimum of 20 impacts. That is absolute excessive force. Considering this woman sacrificed everything for you, she was clinging to life. I hauled her body into the chamber, as the scene clearly shows. Right. Did you employ a blade on her? Actually, I planned to, but never got the chance. Is that so? So, I assume you never actually got to stick her with the steel. Nope, it was purely blunt force. Just the mallet doing the work in my hand. Where did the impacts land? The skull, exclusively in the cranial region, mostly the head. I believe, might have smashed a hand when she tried to shield herself. Understood. Was the trauma anterior or posterior, front or back? Upper rear section. Actually, scratch that. The primary entry wound is right around here. Copy that. I truly believe the gravity of his confession escapes him. Props to the investigators for maintaining their composure in the face of such evil. Did you swap clothes in the lavatory? I did. I even scrubbed myself down in the tub first. Bit intimate of a detail, but yeah, I needed to wash the crimson away. Then I put on fresh gear. Yeah, right. What about your sibling, name Desiree Hill? Is she safe? She is unharmed. Yeah, okay. Where does she reside? Nearby flat. Actually, that large. Spanish-style architecture. You know the one? The vintage complex. Did you fantasize about ending her too? Put that in your manifesto. As a matter of fact, I did. But I opted out. Had my quota of bloodshed for the day. Felt like a bit much. A tad excessive. Right. This is the very sister who cared for him for years due to his attention disorder. So, post-mortem. Did you strip the body, or was she already? Had to drag her by the fabric to get her inside. Actually, it was quite a workout. Honestly, she is a heavy woman. Yeah. Is she your birth mother? Biological? Yes. Indeed, she birthed me. Okay, what sort of rush did that give you? I always held a flame for my mother. Perhaps a twisted variety, but love nonetheless. Mixed with fury, maybe a pinch. He harbored a dark, unnatural affection for his mother. Absolute degenerate. And the urge to extinguish her started before he even hit puberty. Have you taken any other lives? Negative. Just lived it in your head. Just dreamed it. Yeah. How long have these dark impulses plagued you? Since I was about 12. Really? Yeah. Ever look for professional help? Psychiatric support thought you could handle the demons. Nope. Kept my mouth shut. Just embraced the darkness as part of my design. No shame in it. It just existed. Regarding the letters you left, what was the count? 3. One was found in the main hall. Correct. Recipient, Desiree. My sister. Because I knew she's a fragile soul. Knew she'd completely crack if she stumbled upon the carnage. Recall the contents. Keep calm. Rush. She might be breathing, though I highly doubt it. That was the gist of it. Yeah. Considerate, but you penned that knowing your mother was already gone. Oh, absolutely. I knew. He was toying with Desiree, dangling false hope that she survived. Yeah. My twisted wit at play. I was pretty unhinged by that point. Wit, that is repulsive and pitiful. There was a second message in the victim's quarters. Content, do you recall? Save me. Directed at law enforcement. I was just feeling incredibly whimsical in that moment. Okay, is greater than I just. Well, honestly, the only thing on my mind was to run. I just needed to see how much distance I could put between us. But, yeah, so, your plan was to skip town entirely. According to the notes we recovered from the scene, that seemed to be the goal. Oh, yeah, is greater than, yeah. Catch a Greyhound bus. I was going to try and get out of state, just disappear, really. Is greater than. But I guess plans changed. You never made it to the station. You ended up at a stranger's house. E maggiore di no. Is greater than. My escape was cut short because she engaged me. She told me my sister was on her way to pick me up, said she'd be there in a matter of minutes. Is greater than go live with her. And that was the trigger. I knew it was time to act. Now or never. I see. Is greater than. I only went to that house to use their landline. But while I was on the phone, they got suspicious. They started asking questions. So I figured I might as well confess. I mean, naturally, they had questions. I'm a stranger standing in their home using their phone. Is greater than. Where exactly were you when this happened? Where did you end up? Is greater than. Ultimately, I ended up deep in the backwoods, lying in a ditch. Is greater than. Was this within city limits or further out? Is greater than. Out in Robstown. Is greater than. In Robstown, that's quite a trek. How did you manage to get all the way out there? In Corpus Christi, I biked about halfway until I hit the railroad tracks. Ditched the bike in the heavy brush and just walked the rest of the way. Is greater than just walking until you couldn't anymore. Is greater than, yeah. Okay, and then you stumbled upon the house. Was it the first one you saw? How did you select that specific house to make your call? Initially, the plan was simple, just run. Run as far and as fast as I possibly could. But I ended up collapsing in the thick woods, sobbing uncontrollably. It hit me, oh God. What have I done? And I realized right then, you don't know the value of what you have until you've already lost it. Is greater than. Kevin had meticulously planned his escape, but hesitation set in. Where would he really go? He had been sheltered, fed, and cared for his entire existence. Is greater than. Greater than. So you reached a breaking point. You felt like giving up on life, and you just needed to confess to someone right then and there. I guess so. Yeah. It's like your mind wants one thing, but your intuition screams the truth. It's your heart talking, and you can't ignore it. Is greater than is greater than. Do you feel any remorse for what you did to your mother? Is greater than is greater than. In a way, yes, but I wouldn't undo it. It's strange. Really, I did love her, in my own twisted way. Is greater than is greater than. Was she abusive? Was she mean to you? Is greater than is greater than. Oh, no. No. She was the best mother anyone could ask for. Okay. So, she did nothing to provoke this. Oh, absolutely nothing. No. She is greater than is greater than. If I asked you what she did to deserve this fate, what would you say? Is greater than absolutely nothing. I'm a terrible, disgusting human being. Yeah, basically, is greater than how did the idea to end her life first enter your mind? Is greater than how did I conceive it? Is greater than yeah. Was it impulsive? Is greater than it's been developing in my psyche for a while. Is greater than well, I think he's actually proud of himself for finishing the job. Now, investigators had to uncover his true inspiration, but his reply would actually shock you. Is greater than then I'm asking because this is highly unusual. You're sitting here calmly telling us about a horrific crime. You appear to be a nice guy. You present yourself as a good person. You know, you're not yelling or screaming at me. Is greater than you seem very rational. Is greater than you are rational. You seem like a decent kid. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's all. Well, despite the brutality of how I ended her life, I'm actually more fascinated by the artistic aspects of murder. The meticulous manner of it. I mean, there is such care involved. Such love. And is greater than the weapon. The hammer. Where did you get it? Is greater than from her drawer. Okay, yes. Is greater than, and after the act, you just left it at the scene. The hammer. I did. Yes, that is the weapon you used. Nim. Okay, and we found blood on a knife, but you said you never used it. I guess that was just blood transfer from where I grabbed it. Actually, I did pick up a knife in the living room earlier. I thought, did I take it with me? No. Is greater than explain. How you moved the body. You tried to avoid leaving a mess on the curtains. Right, sighs and gasps. Is greater than that. Is greater than did you lift her? Under the arms? Did you drag her? How did you move her? Is greater than. It was very sloppy. Actually, I didn't have a plan. I just kind of winged it, dragged her by her shirt, then by her legs. I dragged her any way I could. I slipped a few times. Okay, I'm not exactly built for physical labor, so I'm not a very strong person. Is greater than. It wasn't a pretty sight. Narrator. The degenerate admitted he wasn't physically imposing, yet he still had more bone-chilling details to confess. Is greater than you. Have your own bedroom. Right. Mayorki I do. Okay, just checking. Now, regarding that note where you outlined your plan to skip town after murdering your mother and sister, we recovered that. We found it in one of the bedrooms. Not your mother's room, but the other one. That was your space. Correct. Big. Messy handwriting. Yeah. Okay. Is greater than. But your sister wasn't living with you two at the time. E maggiore di no. She wasn't. Is greater than. Did you ever voice these intentions to anyone else? You know, about what you wanted to do to your mom or sister. Is greater than no. But the urges grew darker over the years. As a kid, I was just ignorant, full of teenage angst. I'd say things, slip up, but I guess they just brushed it off. Honestly, the red flags were everywhere, but their family, Families tend to turn a blind eye to that sort of thing, or they try to pretend it's not happening. Is greater than at this stage. How do you define yourself? I'm going to use a harsh term here. All right, I don't mean to offend you, but I need to ask. Do you consider yourself mentally disturbed? Do you think you're insane? What is it? Do you identify with those labels? Or do you think you're fine, just plagued by some dark thoughts? Is greater than I'm not mentally disturbed. I'm sane. I know exactly what I did. I know it's wrong in the traditional sense of morality. È maggiore di so. It was just a fantasy you harbored and felt compelled to execute. To make it real, is greater than yeah. Is greater than narrator. He was even chuckling about it. You'd have to be completely deranged to laugh in that situation. And when the detectives asked if he had the capacity to kill again, his answer was chilling. Yes. Is greater than keep on killing. Is greater than I came here to pay for my crimes. So, I suppose I should offer the full truth. The truth is greater than yes. Absolutely. Is greater than I would kill again. I suspect you have a specific type. Oh, no. Men aren't my thing. Actually, is greater than women. Is greater than yeah. Okay. Do you have a girlfriend? Is greater than I don't. Never had one. È maggiore di. Tell me. Describe your ideal victim, or your ultimate fantasy kill scenario. Is greater than. This feels a bit strange to say on camera. Okay, is greater than I'm not surprised by anything anymore. So just tell me. Maybe dressing in a sharp suit, breaking into her home, incapacitating her boyfriend. You know? Yeah, I'd bring a nice dress along to put on her. That was always my thing. But after that last blunder, I guess I'd prefer something large and sharp. I prefer them lifeless. I'd dress her up. I'd stitch her up. Then I'd have my way with her and make it a night to remember. Is greater than. And then I'd just torch everything and flee into the hills. Is greater than so prior to this. You never. Is greater than narrator. Honestly, this individual harbors some of the darkest fantasies we've ever profiled on this channel. And what he confesses next is truly disturbing. Is greater than I guess, since I'm already confessing. I might as well tell you now. Is greater than yeah. It's in the note. The P.S. section. We used to have a gray cat named Claire. A corpse is a corpse. And in the end, it's just a piece of meat. I guess it sounds harsh, but is greater than a body. Is a body. Flesh is flesh. Narrator, that is absolutely sick. Is greater than, but no. I don't really mind. I'll face the music. Whatever happens, happens. Est supérieur assure. Is greater than. There's no happy ending for me here. È maggiore di tell me. What do you think justice looks like for you? What should your punishment be? Is greater than well. Whatever the judge, the people, the jury deems fit. I can rot. I can suffer for years or be given the death penalty. Whatever they decide is right for me. Is greater than. What do you think you deserve? For killing your mom is greater than just to rot and suffer. Is greater than, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, let me give you some hypothetical options. 10 years probation, 20 years in the pen, or 100 years in the pen. Which do you prefer? Is greater than 100 maximum. But I suppose, is greater than narrator. And just before we continue, let's watch his sister's reaction when she learned her brother had murdered their mother and that she was also on his hit list. Is greater than. We're going to talk right now about your brother. Is greater than he killed my mom. Yes, is greater than. When was the last time you saw your mom and then she just broke down screaming? It really tore her apart. Honestly, seeing as we both absolutely adored the kid. It's not like he had a solid crew of friends. And his father, well, he was pretty much useless. He crashed at my place for a while, but Mom was desperate to get him back home. She wanted to give him one final shot to get his act together, finish school, and find a path. She even went out and dropped $100 on a jacket she knew he'd just mistreat, all because she hoped it might make him happy. She truly cared for him. You have to understand, my mother wasn't malicious. She was a kind woman, but he would just snap, spewing hateful garbage at her face, calling her heavy and attacking her appearance. She would just absorb that toxicity, and it was eating her up inside. She was constantly devastated. I used to try to talk her off the ledge, and she would just nod in agreement. However, Kevin had a long track record of abusing his mother's kindness. The guy always battled demons, even as a child. Out of the blue, he would sketch horrifying scenes of violence and bloodshed for absolutely no reason. Did he ever explicitly threaten to end your life? Or your mother's? No, never. Listen, we need to disclose something we haven't released to the public. He drafted a manifesto before committing the act. We are concerned for your safety because, well, your name was specifically on his hit list. Desiree then highlighted the red flags of his murderous tendencies that appeared during his youth. His plan was to take out your mother, then you, and flee the city. Right, he had obsessions. It wasn't just madness. He was living out a twisted fantasy. You have got to be kidding me. Yeah, he claims he has urges. That is his justification. My God, you were a target. Just imagine hearing from an investigator that your own brother plotted your execution. Kevin Davis Jr. was officially indicted for first-degree homicide and aggravated assault. These heinous crimes rattled everyone who knew Kimberly Hill to their core, and the proof of his guilt was overwhelming. Yet, Kevin's path through the judicial process was far from simple. Prosecutors offered him a plea bargain, a chance at a reduced term, but in a shocking display of arrogance, he turned it down. His refusal to own up to his brutality triggered a protracted and bitter legal war. Ultimately, he decided to plead guilty, but his fate was already sealed. The judge handed down a life sentence with no chance of parole until the year 2044. In reality, the odds of him ever breathing free air again are virtually zero. As the trial concluded, the shockwaves of his cruelty filled the room, but the statement from his sister, Desiree, cut the deepest. Standing before the court, Desiree stared down her brother, the man she had once protected, the boy she tried to save, now the monster who stole everything. With a spirit weighed down by grief, she locked eyes with Kevin and delivered the truth. You destroyed the one person who truly stood by you. Now, you are completely alone. Her words, though sharp, were soaked in sorrow, mourning the mother she lost and the brother who had ceased to exist. Kevin Davis Jr. now rots in the John Montfort Psychiatric Unit, where he undergoes mental health evaluation. It is a stark, grim contrast to the life of freedom he once enjoyed. And while he may sit securely within his cell walls, the community that once embraced him, especially his sister, remains permanently broken. The nightmares of March 27, 2014, continue to plague the survivors as they struggle to comprehend the impossible. They are left wondering how a beloved son could morph into a butcher against his own flesh and blood. And that brings this dark chapter to a close. What is your take on this tragedy? Drop your opinions in the comments below. If this tale sent shivers down your spine, we have plenty more deep dives into the macabre waiting for you. Make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and share. It helps ensure victims like Kimberly are never forgotten. I appreciate you tuning in. I will catch you in the next one.